Got page 10 done. Oh. Saying that my R really didn't even come out. But after we get old. So we're just signing this now. And we made him do all this work before.
That's the process that we had to go through.
I made a budget for all of you, just not, this is not the budget, just the look that we're like $117,000 off. We're spending $117,000 more than we're getting in a month, but we're still in good shape.
But like the 117 over the course of a year, based on people that aren't paying.
That aren't
If they're
paying.
paying, okay.
If everybody was paying, we'd actually be up. We could reduce our maintenance fees.
And what happened when the people doesn't pay their association? What they do?
We've sued 15 houses that were in good shape, that we thought we could go and foreclose on, and take over the houses and then rent them. We're renting 2 houses now that we haven't even foreclosed on, that we just rented and waiting for the bank to do something, so we get a little income from that. But there's nothing we can do to make these people pay. You can't go shoot them to make them pay. You need to actually go through the legal system, which is very difficult. So what happens is we have 300 houses paying for 385 houses. We have we're getting about $30,000 a month. We should be getting $44,000. So we're short about $14,275 a month in our maintenance payments. But now we've become aggressive in collecting that. Maybe next year it'll get a little less.
Right, we've got a hiccup right now with the change in management, which we had no warning and no control over. Once Affinity is settled in and gets control of everything, we expect them to be aggressive and go after it. Little by little, it's been getting more and more paying every month. It's just a little slower than we'd like.
Yeah, we came up from 22,000 to 30,000 a month. We were only getting 22 back a year ago, and now we're getting 30. And maybe we'll be getting a little more. Our problem is our actual bills are $651,000. And we're collecting $531,000. So then you have to offset that and make everybody else that shouldn't be paying, like me, that much more money, to pay that much more money so we can pay our bills. And then we have to go after the people that aren't paying their bills. And there are a lot of banks, by the way, which will pay eventually, but they'll only pay 1 year. So we have to wipe out like people owe us $15,000. We have actually people that owe us $15,000. And the bank's only going to pay 1 year of maintenance, except for, and he knows how to do this, sometimes you can make the bank pay the whole thing. You just send the bill, and sometimes the bank just pay, and it's happened several times where the bank just paid off everything they owe, even though they didn't have to by law. So we try that every time to see if we can get away with it. If we can't get away with it, then we lost the money.
Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. 7:10. Approval of the minutes. We did not approve the minutes from September last time because we didn't have them. I put together the minutes as best I could today off of my memory on my notes and the videos for both the September meeting and the October meeting. I emailed them to everybody.
Read them?
Entertain a motion to
I have a motion to approve,
approve as published.
as published.
A second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's for September. All in favor for October?
Aye.
Approved. Okay, what's the latest on our adventure with the gates?
Well, the latest is that when I met 2 months ago with the West gave me one sheet, 1 page that I emailed y'all, indicating the things that they would like to have on the agreement. I expressed to them at that time that this particular sheet does not have any legality, so we need to add somebody to it. So once we went through that, I sent the information to the lawyer for him to be able to really put some grip on this and to make it legal enough that if something happened, we can go after them or they can go after us. It's really one of the things that we did talk about is the maintenance. The maintenance, they feel that we can have a maintenance and they can have one. So I said to them, okay, the only way we could agree to that is that you all need to understand is that we can place it in the contract that anyone that failed to do what they need to do, the other one not only would be able to go after them, but that association is advising they would pay.
You do realize that this man wants to do his own maintenance. I have a quote.
But wait a minute, I mean, again, this is just what he's saying. But if he say, if they can sign something that say, and if they or we violate whatever it is, we can pay for the legal bills upfront. Then we just have to go with that. I mean, there's no sense to be dealing time and time with this, but they have to say, they have to agree that.
Did you read the new quote from A1 Garage Doors?
No, you know why? Because of the last time that they came in, first they gave us a quote, just to bring you up.
They have no traps. Just go back to A1 Garage Doors. A1 Garage Doors has no traps. They have just the basic system. I have a quote from a company that's really phenomenal that'll do both our gates, their side and our side, for $91,000, which is with electronic guards, if we need them, at their access point. This is like a really phenomenal company. I thought they were going to be way out of line, but if you take A1 gates that we're going to have to pay in excess of $37,000 each, well, they're not going to pay it because they said, we're not going to do that. We're not going to put in a trap and we're not going to, no. But if you take their quote, this quote is not that much more money and it's for 2 sides.
Okay, but
It's about 45.5, no?
okay, but I mean, my mission was not to deal with any quotes. My mission is to
Well, but our mission was to deal with the gates.
Wait a minute. But before you go to gate, you have to deal with the agreement. And I think that's what we wanted first. We wanted to really get the agreement out of the way.
Yeah, well, he don't want an agreement. I read the whole thing.
Well,
He just doesn't want an agreement. He wants you to write
well,
one
but
page.
he knows though, he knows that there is agreement now. And if this is signed, it will supersede this one. So what they have done right now, they have placed one arm on the visitor side. And they said what we're doing is just upgrading what we needed to upgrade a long time ago. I don't see a problem with it, but they know they can't put no gate, they can't place no cold system, they can't place no stickers. None of that can be done until an agreement is signed. Because I explained to them,
Well, then that's fine. Let's not do this, because I really think if we're gonna actually put up gates, we can all discuss this, but I think if we're gonna actually put up gates, we should close our site, make it visitors only, open their site, make it with guards full-time, and just like Lakes on the Green has, and we'll have a more secure system if we have input into the guards that they have on that gate, because we can't have the guards that they have there now because they let everybody in. We need a guard system that's going to be, controlling. But we can talk about that later, right?
again, I only
Again, I
talk
think
about
the agreement.
agreement. Because there's no sense going to who can do the job if the agreement.
What's the name of the other association?
Marbella Park
West.
West.
I think the important part was getting in there and making sure they understood that they couldn't proceed. They
Yeah,
were
they
they
can't
were
proceed.
rushing
They
to
were going to put in
proceed,
the gates
on their
without
own.
anything.
and I think we put the brakes on. With everything going on, I'm not all that anxious to worry about in the next month and a half, being that we just got a brand new management company that we have to deal with. We got a budget to deal with, and we got an annual meeting to deal with just in the next 6 weeks. And we got the holidays, so now that we've slowed things down in the beginning of the year, I mean,
We
we
can
keep
all
meeting
not
with them,
celebrate the
but
holidays, you realize that?
what's that?
We can all not celebrate the holiday.
And why is that? You can't celebrate.
Just continue, sir.
All right, so that's the latest. We're still working with Maloney and the West on agreement.
That's in progress.
Okay. We have a new management company. Mr. Aquino is here representing, at least for tonight. You want to introduce?
Yeah, sure.
We don't have a big crowd to introduce to,
It's customary.
Good evening, everybody.
So yeah, well, first I wanted to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity. I'm one of the owners of Affinity Management Services. I'm not going to be your manager, but I do go through the process of transitioning the property. So you'll probably see me in and out, and definitely be here for the next board meeting. After that, we'll do a formal introduction of your association manager. Unfortunately, the board got thrown this curveball by the previous management company. However, we're here to assist you through the process. We're trying to get as organized as possible. Unfortunately, it wasn't as a smooth transition as we wanted it to be. But we've worked with these types of cases in the past, and we feel that it shouldn't be a problem getting things up to speed. With regards to the owner's payments, I'm going to speak with the board and hopefully do an agreement to possibly waive 2 months of late fees because of this transition. There are a lot of outstanding owner payments that possibly haven't been cashed, because I did receive a good stack of probably 30 to 50 checks. So we'll be sending that to the bank this week to get deposited. So once that gets done, what we're going to do is we're going to input all the owners' information, and we'll send statements to all the owners, letting them know what the balance is, because we're being provided a balance. And then if there's any differences, you just contact us, and we'll iron out any of the details or any of the issues. The same line of communications are still going to exist. Alex is going to be working with the website. We'll be working with him. We met with Maloney on yesterday, I think it was. We passed by yesterday, and we sat down with him to get an idea of what he's been working on. He gave us a full status on all the foreclosure cases. He gave us a little bit of history of the association as well, so at least we can try to catch up to speed as quickly as possible. As I mentioned in the email, I did find out as we were talking to him that he's the one that pretty much got all the boxes for you, so I thought it would be nice to at least just send a thank you email to him because he's actually the one that put together the unit on the roster. I didn't even know it was him, I thought that was part of the other management company, and thanks to that, I was able to input everyone in the association fairly quickly. Now that you've approved the address, I'll go ahead and mail out welcome letters tomorrow, and I say maybe Friday, latest Saturday, most of the owners should have all the welcome letters in their mail. Now, I don't have any telephone numbers, or I don't have any emails, so if by any chance, maybe Alex has a list, if any of you have a list, it would be great if you could forward it to me so I can put as much contact information in as possible. I do send with the welcome letter a contact sheet to the owners. Now, typically I only get about a 10% return.
Yeah.
But I still do it anyway.
That's
That way-
7 here.
That way, at least we can try to capture. When people call, we're still gonna go through our normal process of trying to get as much information from them as possible. With regards to those two, Nick has sent me over 2 applications. We already processed them. They'll be getting their approvals tomorrow. Everything cleared up, and then the same goes with one of the estables that's already been done. Now, keep in mind, I'm going off the balance that was given me, which was October 15th. I did check the fines report. He wasn't with, that unit was not with the association, with the association attorney. So we just put the balance that was there. We're gonna try to process it as quickly as possible, but the most recent financials we do have are the ones that were online, which are August. We don't have September. So we might have to reconstruct October's, which doing that would mean going back into our invoices so we can have a clear set of financials. I'll let you know about via email. I'll try to have, I spoke with Pedro, the director of operations, the other owner, to see if we can have checks as quickly as possible, because I did speak to Richard today and he was telling me that there are several vendors that are behind because of what occurred. So we are going to try to get at least the check processing as quickly as possible. I think I'll be able to provide you a much better update on Friday on where we stand with the financials. But besides that, we've already put our telephone number on the website and everything, and all of our staff is aware that now we're managing this association and so forth. So these, I would say within these 30 days, we're just going to transition, and then probably for the January meeting, I'll bring in the manager, and that way you get to meet him and so forth. But we'll be working on the site inspection and everything that we discussed in the sales meeting during December as well. So we just ask for your patience because it is, I mean, I think of what you guys know as well, that just because of the financials, if it was given to me like a new set, I would be able to run much quicker. But on the finance side,
Concerns we have right now,
Yeah.
we need to put on a legal budget meeting and then a legal annual meeting.
that, since I see here you have the budget, if you have the dates already set for both.
This is not our budget.
This is just for
No,
planning.
for planning, correct.
We'll go over that,
I
that's
have-
next on the agenda.
Yeah, I have.
And I didn't even do it right. This is a minus right there. by
No,
the way.
I'll review this now that I have this, and if you already set a date, and we already have a preliminary, we can put that on for you, that's no problem, because I already have the unit owner's mailing address, and that's already in my system. And then the legal annual, we just have to give a minimum of 60-day notice, so if you already have that pre-scheduled, and we have more than 60 days, then pretty much I can mail that out as well.
As far as the budget date, we had tentatively said 2 weeks from now, 28th.
28th of,
November. Is
If
that
this
too soon
is-
for notice?
okay,
How much notice are we supposed to give?
14 days.
Okay.
I have to have that envelope pre-stamped, yeah, it's already too soon, it will have to be possibly the following week.
Okay. And we'll just do budget meeting, that'll be it in and out.
Let's
Assuming-
do it. Let's put the.
Yeah, I mean, if you give me the data, I'll
Let's
make
put it for
sure.
this, the earliest date we can have,
Oh, sorry, let's get on the calendar.
Say,
because we need to do this, the budget has to be done. We've been put off by, we had no records. That you have to realize, everybody here, that we hired a new management company, but the old management company sent no records on a DVD, a flash drive, or anything. They sent only paper, you know? And they had to start from scratch.
Yeah, we haven't even been able, so you guys typically like to do it on Wednesdays
We
or?
don't care, just.
Usually, but in this case,
Day
for the
that we-
budget, I don't have a problem, say, doing it the 3rd, Monday.
We can go
Monday the
any
third,
day.
everything till Monday to mail it out. Yeah, if you're okay with this budget, for me, it's just entering into a sheet.
Not that.
No,
Not
that's
Well,
what-
that's next on our agenda.
Oh, okay, all right.
Assuming there's no
Okay, yeah.
surprises here, we should be okay.
Okay, good, then as long, if I have the figures, it's really for me, it's just plugging into my sheet and then just printing the notices, it's really not that difficult. It's just printing and putting it into the machine to fold and stuff and insert. So then we're looking at the third at what time?
That's 7. Let's do that 7.
7
o'clock.
Yes,
Usually we go
I
to
can't eat. You realize that you all have wives to cook for you. I have to cook for
Have you
myself.
met my wife?
I don't eat when we go to
All you
7
need to
o'clock.
do is cook Sunday and eat the leftover.
Oh, yeah.
This will be a short one, and then we'll go back to 8 o'clock for our regular meeting.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay, so, December 3rd at 7 PM budget meeting.
My wife used to order out.
Now, do we want to pick a date for our annual meeting? Do it on our regular night, the 19th of December?
I'll go with
That would be
I agree with
the
that.
third Wednesday.
The annual meeting, though, you do have to notice 60 days in advance, so you're already looking at
We're
January.
already in January.
Yeah, unless you sent the first notice.
Let's define what you mean by annual meeting.
Okay, is it your elections? If it's either or, it's 60 days. Most associations have their annual
60
election.
days what?
60-day notice.
Notice for.
For the
For the
annual
annual
election.
and election, yeah.
It's the same.
When they change that?
I'm sorry?
When did they change that?
Oh, I'm sorry, your HOA, yeah, your HOA is different. No, you're correct. I mean, HOA, you're different. I apologize, yeah. I apologize. HOA is different. I'll check your condo docs. Typically it's 30, 14, depending.
14.
Because your elections typically occur,
Yeah,
you
we're-
vote that day. It's not through secret ballot, yeah.
Yeah, we
So
don't want to see.
what date did you have in mind?
19.
19th, there shouldn't be no problem. 8 PM?
That's 7 o'clock.
All right.
Thank you.
December
Thank you too.
19th,
You have a wife.
7 PM.
That's a Wednesday.
Huh?
That's a Wednesday.
That's
Well,
what
my
I
wife doesn't come on Wednesday, she's dead.
Just get some leftover.
Okay.
That's not,
Leftovers, I'm gonna have leftovers on Wednesday.
okay.
So we will forego our regular meeting for December. We got enough
Yes, we
meetings
have
for
enough
December.
meeting.
That would be December.
7:19.
December 19th.
Those are the big pressing concerns, obviously, and just digging in and getting all our stuff straightened out. And again, unfortunately, it came as a surprise on a Sunday afternoon, about 3 o'clock. We got an email saying, and this was the middle of October, she said as of October 31st, they were resigning. But by that Thursday, she had turned everything over and hasn't taken a call or responded to anything since. So,
Not even from friends.
you know, she says it's health reasons and it could be it's a small family business basically, so it seems like they just shut down. Personally, I don't blame her if that's what it is, but professionally, it's a real problem for us, but we're dealing with it. Do you have anything else right now, Rafael?
At the moment,
All right. So budget planning. We need to go over, I had printed out a couple things, but I think what Richard has here is pretty good. Are there any,
The only thing I have is the aged accounts.
You're gonna have
Because
copy of the account
we've been
now?
taking in about $30,000 a month, and we're supposed to be taking in 44 and change. Now, so I don't know if I did that right, that I brought that for him. I put down the difference in the 30,000 that we're taking in and the 44,275 that we should, and then I put that into age accounts now and came up with a total of 651. And then I put it in our assessments, which we're actually supposed to get, which is 531, which we're not getting, and the late fees that they estimate we're going to get, which we don't know, but anyway, because most of the people that are not paying, most of the people that we charge late fees to are not paying the late fees because they're not paying the maintenance either. But that's beside the point. I put that in anyway. And that we're $117,685 short.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, and Raphael can help us with this, but for budgeting purposes, we put in what, what's owed to us, right? We put in.
Correct, typically when you put into a budget, is you'll put whatever your shortfall is, which you'll put it under bad debt line item. So for instance, in this particular case, in last year's budget, I don't have last year's budget, so I wouldn't be able to look at. From what I've seen so far, is you pay $115,000, I'm sorry, $115 each, correct? So you're annually,
It's less.
oh, that's right.
Question to you, Richard. I don't see that you have placed in, is that the amount that you have here is strictly assessment?
Yeah, 44,235.
That's just assessment.
That's what we're supposed to get instead. We're supposed to get 531.
Okay, but, yes, but this is just assessment. Okay, because how much we got in this month?
30,000 we get.
Okay, let's say you got in 30,000 in assessment. How much we get from collection?
Well, that's the total. All year, for the 12 months past this year, we've gotten in $30,000 every month, including what the attorneys have sent us.
Okay.
So we're $14,000 short every single month, including collections. Now, our collections might get better. No, they might get better. We've done 15 foreclosures so far. We won't be able to rent those houses and get some income from that. But I'm just putting down what we're short, just basically monthly, and I'm not right.
When did we, no, because when did we get the 50,000 left? You sure that?
Oh, the 50,000, I don't have that number. This is not in a budget. The $50,000 came into our bank account.
Yeah, but you have to show you have.
Oh, that's money we have.
Yeah,
Okay,
for the
that's
budget,
the
for the budget, that doesn't.
That's the next thing for the budget, that doesn't even affect. That's the next thing I want to talk about. Do we want to fund our bankruptcy for the year, or do we want to fund it monthly, or how do we want? That bank account is going to be out next month. We're not going to have any more money in that. It's going to have spent all its money. We had $50,000 in there. We need to fund 40, where am I here?
That's per last year's 49,000.
40, we need to put $49,000 from our bank account into that bank account, if we want to keep that bank account paying.
Just for the bankruptcy?
Yeah, paying the bills for the bankruptcy, no, or we can close that bank account completely, put the money over to BB&C and let them pay out the bankruptcy account. But it's been working really good because the Chase account has no other money in it except for the bankruptcy. So if we only put the bankruptcy money back into the Chase account, they'll keep paying those bills at least for another year. So we get another board that comes up.
I think we can move 25,000.
Want to move half a year?
25,000 for right now. You know why? Because of this, what happened in these 2 months.
No, we're not going to get money for 2 months, you're right.
I would say come
You're
January, we'll be up and go moving better.
Okay.
But
So we'd like you to transfer now $25,000 from our operating account into our Chase bankruptcy account. I'll give you all the information.
Yeah.
How to do it. And so we'll just fund for 6 months,
6 months.
well, 7 months actually. We'll fund for 7 months of our bankruptcy.
just for now, this probably, when we into probably March. or-
Should we make a motion for that?
We need to make a motion.
Okay, I make a motion.
Second.
We have a second?
Second?
Oh, I so move.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye. Okay.
That's covered.
I'll send the information on Chase. You can't even get into Chase right now, but I'm gonna let you get in there.
Okay.
Now, does anybody,
So, to answer your question, yeah, it looks like last year they've already included A deficit of about 55 units that are not gonna pay.
Uh-huh.
So, obviously I can't see the report to see where you stand today. I don't know if that's roughly around the same figure. I mean,
We'll take $14,000 divided by, 115 and you'll see.
no, yeah, that's basically what I took the 75 divided it by 12 divided by 115. That's how it gave me how many
Yeah.
people they calculated. So you're looking at about 55. Roughly, do you know how many are outstanding right now?
Yeah, all of those.
No, I'm saying are there more or
They
less?
aren't paying regularly.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're about, we had 80 before.
Okay,
Now
so you're
we're
at about 55.
Right.
So
we
you're
got
pretty much,
improved.
you're pretty much still in a good standing for next year. And also keep in mind that you are gonna have some units that you're gonna take, either association's gonna take over or the bank will take over, so.
And our collections are gonna
Overall.
be ramped up again.
Correct, correct.
Does anybody have any major issues with the numbers that we have from this
But
year?
my only issue was my aged accounts thing. Because last year, even though we had much more in people not paying, she only put in that we were gonna have $75,000 because she said she was gonna collect that much more. You know, like, she could give us, she was giving us a sales pitch that she was gonna
Yeah.
collect that much more. But we didn't collect that much more because even with all the things we paid, we lost $171,000 according to what we should have done. So what I'm saying is, how do we adjust that figure instead of $171,000? Since last year we only had it at $75,000 to get it back so the budget is accurate, so we're charging the people what they should actually be charged. You know?
I have to see that, unless, are these aren't actuals, are they? Are these actuals?
Well, these are almost actuals, like, look at yours. Yours is, we pay you 29 and change, I put 29. These are like estimates, they're not actually accurate.
The actuals, the only actuals we have, same as yours through
Same, yeah.
August.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's because,
I just put an estimate to see, here, I didn't go over, I went a little under on everything, because, well, we do pay Maloney about that much money if you go into our books, and you see what we paid him for the whole year, and then divide it, we paid him about $8,000, I put $7,800 for this year, you know? And then if you go to the property management, we're paying you 29, like 66, and I put $2,900.
No, yeah, I mean, I understand that, I mean, based on, I'm just looking, again, right now, just taking a peek at this. 117, I have to, 171 is what you're stating your total expenses are, correct?
No, our total expenses are $531,000.
131,000 here, all right.
No, our total expenses are $651,985. But that's including $171,000 in aged accounts. If you take the $171,000 off of the $651,000, we're at 490, what are we at? I can't do that in my head anymore, I used to be able to. Yeah. If you take the,
by aged accounts, you mean money that's already owed to us.
yeah, no, the money that they're not paying to us, that we're
Right,
not,
that they owe to us already
Correct.
yeah.
prior to the 2013
And we might not get it, that's the whole thing.
Right,
No,
so we
right,
don't count on
but
it.
you don't, yeah,
Don't
correct,
budget for
correct, yeah.
Well, that's what I said, I don't want to budget that, but that's what they put in the last year's budget, so that's why I did it this year, and then put the difference that we're out.
Yeah, you can't count on it that way, because for instance, the way they did it last year was fair. For instance, if you take that 14,000 and you're assuming
Uh-huh,
2,175, yeah. If you divide that by 115, you're talking that 124 people aren't paying the money.
okay, our expenses are $480,685 a year, that's our expenses.
Okay, minus the 75, so you got that 40.
Okay. The 480, that's our expenses.
Says here.
And then, but we have all these people that aren't paying.
Okay.
So what do we do with that? That's the figure we need you to fix. I don't know how to do that.
No, yeah, what I'm trying to explain to you is that you do have it fixed. They budgeted for it last year, which is right here, this deficit, this shortfall. which
Okay,
is what it-
but last year, if you take, they paid $14,000 a month last year. They budgeted for $75,000. and we actually got $171,000 less.
But the thing
This
is,
is just through August.
you have to see how you're coming with that 171, because for instance, if you're adding up the receivables for more than a year, you're not calculating it properly. Because you're adding in multiple years.
I just did from January through now.
No, because then if you were doing January through now, you divide this 171 by 12, okay, just divide, if you divide this 14,275 by 115, you're telling me that 124 people aren't paying, and that's not
Then
true.
that must be true.
Yeah,
But that's what we get.
no, that can't be right. I mean, then you're talking about almost a 40% of it.
Annual.
Yeah.
Well, but that doesn't- What we get, if you look in our bank account, we get $30,000 a month.
Okay.
And we're supposed to get 44,275. If we only get $30,000 a month, then
Paid 46.
we're $14,000 out every month. That's why I've been telling them all year, they don't believe me. But we only get $30,000 a month. If you look in our bank account, you just see, it comes in $30,000 a month. Sometimes 31, sometimes 29. No, but we average, we get $30,000 a month.
Okay.
So we're out $14,000 a month. So we're out $14,000 a month. $14,000 a
You know
month.
what?
Trees.
You know what? That includes the tree.
Calculate.
Early in the
So
year.
that yeah.
Divided by
Yeah, that's what is, yeah.
115 equals. We have 121 houses that aren't paying, or that are in serious delinquency. No?
I have a accounts receivable report here. I'll be able to do it. I have a accounts receivable report at the office, and I'll be able to do it better.
Okay,
I'll call in.
we'll let this go. But
But I didn't see it.
you can fix that figure and then
Yeah, I can adjust it. That's not. that's not a
adjust
problem.
the other figures
You
too.
have there our budget.
I have this, yeah, I'm mistake. I have for
There's really-
2012, and I have one that
We don't anticipate any
any
major
major changes. So I can send
changes.
it
So
to
if
you.
you can look, anything that pops up as a question
Yeah, I'll
mark,
send
give
you
us a call, send us an
We're
email,
gonna have
we'll get right back to
a
you.
little more for
We'll send it
garbage.
out to
Oh,
you.
yes, we have a little
Yeah,
more.
those,
We
yeah.
have a little more for management company. No, we have a little more for pool because our pool people charge us more money than they did prior. They're charging us $525, where they used to charge us $495. No? And the rest of that's fine.
Yeah, and I'll send you guys a copy before I made it. I'll see you there, and so you can look.
You got it.
That's it for that.
There's not gonna be much change.
No.
So that's by the total number in the bottom
Correct, that's the.
have to go, come out to 150
Yeah, no problem.
each per.
Well, we could actually raise it 10%.
Well, that's something you guys need to talk about.
Yeah.
We would actually like to raise it 10%.
Some of us would like to.
I would like to. 100%.
Wouldn't you need
That-
to
that's a
include in the
very-
budget improvements?
That's a
like
very good
gates?
statement.
Wouldn't that need to be in the budget if you're?
I like how you say that.
I would like
But
to do
but
that.
how you gonna we and then go to like, when you said stay at like.
I said I would like to raise it 100%. We should raise it 10%.
Okay,
Alex said.
what's next?
In this budget planning, you haven't mentioned the gates. You know, if you're planning on spending $45,000 on the gates, shouldn't that be part of the
I
budget?
put it in the
Oh, it
budget.
is.
I do that. I only put 33 because that was the basic quote. Yeah. So,
Okay. I have one other item before we go to open discussion. Thanks to Paul who's not here, we finally did get our dog waste stations put up. Very nice. Unfortunately, we've already had them abused. That bag right there is full of a bag. Somebody just pulled them all out and wrapped them around somebody's truck as a joke. And then brought them to my house. But I think they're all attached.
You didn't get the one today.
Well, there's more on the way.
There was some.
Well, those are still all attached. We can give them to Henry and have them come back in.
Those was, probably those was at the truck.
Yeah.
There was one on the way also. But anyway,
Well, if you see kids mess around with stuff like that, please let us know, confront them, say, hey.
Okay, if we see any kids doing something like that, who's phone that we need to call?
police.
Police.
Yeah?
Police?
The police.
let's find that out.
305 for police, it's not emergency, but, yeah, we need to, I mean, If it's something
Yeah,
silly,
305
sometimes just saying to the
police.
kids, hey, don't do that is enough, but, you know, if it's a problem, somebody's looking suspicious, somebody's peeking
Somebody
in
needs to take his
cardboard,
children
somebody's
and have their parents talk to
vandalizing,
them.
they need to call police. Because we can't, as board members, you know, we're just like you, we're just owners.
But
We
the
live here.
point, you know, so one of the things is the phone gates. A lot of people come to my house, they call, and we don't know. Just knock the door. And I'm surprised, I said, what you doing here? They don't call me. I said, I don't know, she let me, you know, let it go. So I don't know if it's a security, let it pass through. Anybody comes to the front gate, they need to call the people. People, why
that-
am I home?
Two gates.
That is the policy, and we've been riding our security on our side on it. Every time we have a specific report and we know it came through here, they'll review the tapes, they'll talk to their employee. We've had several employees removed for not calling. From what I've seen the last month or two, it's been a lot better on this side. Unfortunately, that's what we were talking about before, an agreement with the West. They do their own thing. We have no say over that 87th Ave
That's
gate.
where they come from.
So
No,
more often than not,
nobody come to my house can decide, because they don't know that we have other interests. I never told them that we have
That's
other.
where they-
Okay, but you have to, when that happens, do you have access to a computer?
Yeah.
Okay, when that happens, we would like you to just send a little email. You have to put the time and the date. That's all, and what car it is. Because when we get that, then we can go and review the tapes at exact that time, and then we can see if the security did or did not. Okay? And then at that time, we will have the security removed because we already decided that we are not going to tolerate anymore. There was a curve but the curve has been 2 years now. So we're not tolerating anything. If they want the job, now if they are doing the job, then they're doing the job. If they are not, then we can address it immediately.
Yeah, by Monday, 2 people come to my house.
Right,
They
but we
call.
don't know that. You are telling us, that's fine, but we need a time and a date, exactly, because then we have to go and check it. You see, because we don't, you might not like the security, and you might say, security made someone come in, and that was not true. We don't know that, but we do have camera that we can confirm, yes, this happened.
we're not saying it doesn't happen. Clearly, it's still happening. From what I've seen, as far as reports to us, it's way less than it was. It's getting better. Most of the time, when we have been reported that it happened, it is on the west. But not saying that it never happened here. It's something that we're doing what we can. Every time we get reported, we report it to security and let them know they need to fix it. And they'll get on their employee.
Just so you
and
know,
like I
the
said, review-
daytime West Guard has been, the new one they hired, has been good. My son even complimented him the other day for the first time in the history that he's come in there, that he actually stopped him and asked him where he was going.
That's good. That's even better.
So they have a daytime guard.
We need to go.
Yeah,
Because we
yeah.
can't, if we don't know, so send us an email, or, send, the email is the best thing. Because then we can forward the email to security and to the management company.
And that email, that's the one that we have on the file?
There's an info at Marbella Park. That'll get to Alex, he'll forward it to us. On the website, we all have emails you can send directly to us. So you'll get through to us.
You can take any
In fact,
board
that's the
member,
easiest
put
thing.
our name and marbellapark.org, and it goes right to us. Any one of our names, it'll go right to us personally, or you can write to marbellapark.org. You can go on the site, and it'll show you exactly how to do it.
And don't, we're gonna get, everybody's gonna get a chance in just a second, that's next to mine. But don't be afraid to call the police. I was never one to get involved or call the police, but if you see something like that, we have to do it. A lot of people for a long time just would call us and expect us to handle it like 2 days later, or send us an email. Listen, 3 days ago, these kids were screwing
What
around
do we
by the
do
lake or
after
jumping,
3 days?
what do we do? We're all just homeowners. We're no different from you guys. We have no more power. All we're doing is sort of managing on everybody's behalf. Until somebody else steps up and wants to do it. Please, that's what makes a difference. And we have been doing it more and there has been improvement. There's been less reports of crime for a while there. Every night it seemed like somebody was complaining that cars were broken into. Not saying it maybe still isn't happening from time to time, but I haven't had it reported in a long time. So that's a good thing. I see the police going around more. We've been holding security more responsible. I see the security guard in the golf cart a lot more.
Much
Like
more.
they were supposed to.
I have too.
I don't know, it was the last year that someone opened my neighbor car, and they even tried to my husband's car, and we saw, because we had camera in the house. And when he checked, the guy came to my husband's car first, and do like this. So the car was closed. He went to my neighbor, his car was open.
And that is the biggest problem. About, was it 6 months ago, we had Miami-Dade police out here doing an outreach, and they knocked on about 100 of the doors and introduced themselves. And I walked around with one of the sergeants, and what they would do is walk up to the car and check the car, and half the cars were left open. And they said that's the biggest problem. Mostly it's kids just looking for an iPod or some loose change or something quick. And if it's, they're not going to break a window, they're not going to pop a lock, but if it's open, let's see. And it's just kind of like, oh, look what I got, lock your doors, it's important. We had one, when I was walking with the sergeant, Ernesto's neighbor, the sergeant went up to the truck, and not only was the door open, the keys were hanging in the ignition. So, it's important that we guard ourselves.
It's very difficult to guard ourselves. We need to call the police whenever possible when you see something that's going wrong. When my house was robbed, I gave the police all the information. I had pictures of the people that robbed my house. I had all the proof. I even had this week come in, they sent me a list because it goes up to my SkyDrive. They stole my phone. So now they're using my phone. So I went up to my SkyDrive. They made a list of what they need to go back to school this year. On my phone, it was there. And it told, on the bottom of the list was besides their hats and their shirts and their clothes, on the bottom was 2 bags of grass. Okay. On their list for the things they need to buy to go back to school. And the police don't do anything. But we need to call them anyway, because at least get the report and they get more attentive to our community. They come back more, and they are here more often now.
I have a question. I've been trying to reach the HOA payment, and I have left like for about a month, maybe less.
Yeah, you could have left 100, they're not
No
open.
one left it on my phone.
Because they're
The
not open.
manager resigned.
They
Without
resigned,
any
right.
notice, they resigned, they shut their doors, they turned over all our papers. This is Mr. Aquino, he's our brand new manager. We just finally finalized the contract a few days ago.
Mr. Keenan, do you have a number that I could reach you because I need to inquire about my house to see for the payments?
Sure,
I need to speak to
yes.
someone. I
Sure.
will have your email.
Sure, I'll provide that to you as soon as we're done here, I'll personally give it to you.
Perfect, I appreciate it.
No
Thanks.
problem. Actually, I'll give it to you now while everyone's here, is that way you can just write 305 325 4243. And if, what I should ask, 305 325 325 42 43.
¿Cuál es su nombre?
Rafael Aquino. Si no puede dar, if you can give us a week before you call, there's going to be no late payments because we haven't entered all the owner balances
Oh.
into the system yet.
So now, starting tomorrow, we need to send the payment to,
I'm
We're
going
gonna
to
be in.
They know to what you're
In the
yeah, but I have
newsletter?
it
Yeah, and I'm gonna send you also a welcome letter. So before I leave, in case if you don't live in the property, let me know your alternate address. If you live here, then you'll receive the letter. It'll tell you also where to mail the payments, the telephone number, the email address, everything. It gives you a little bit about us and contact information. So if you could send that back to us, it'd be great with your email and so forth. You should receive that by Saturday or Monday at the latest.
By email.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
It'll give an email. But in the moment, you can call. But I won't be able to give you a balance because it's going to take us a couple days to put the balances into our system. And once we do put all the balances in, we're actually gonna mail you a statement of what your balance is, of what we were given as a balance, and that way you know where you stand. Okay? So, but feel free to mail the payments. If your check hasn't been deposited, they gave us a stack of checks. So we'll be sending that to the bank this week. So it'll probably get deposited, if not Friday, early next week.
Oh, I have mine over here.
Oh, if you want it, I'll take it from you now if you like, that's not a problem.
How long is it gonna take for you to send us that email?
The welcome letter, you should, I'm mailing it out tomorrow. Typically it's one day in Miami.
Do they mail it or mail it?
Unfortunately, they didn't provide me with email addresses, so I don't have email addresses. I mean, if you give me an email address today, I'll send it to you via email if it's easier for you.
When you have it,
I can email that.
email a copy
Okay, great.
to Alex, and he'll, because he's got a pretty good database now of
Great,
emails.
great. I'll do
He
that.
can forward it along just as a second.
Okay, great.
you know,
Yeah, I'll
second
definitely do
piece.
that. I'll send it to you.
So-
And if you don't receive emails from
I'm
us
sorry?
When
already,
are they gonna put
Yeah,
that?
I'm setting that up with the bank now. So when I mail you your statement,
I got my
I'm gonna
email.
mail you the form for a direct deposit if you wanted to.
But, yes, I'll
I'll mail
mail
it.
I have another question.
one second, we're coming around in just a second. Does the board have any other comments?
I have a motion.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion about the late payments. I would like to say that anybody that was current as of August 31st, we should not charge them a late payment for September, October, or November if they were current as of August. If they were not current as of August 31st, I think we should charge them late payments for every single month, because they were already late.
For the whole 3 months, September, October, November.
But if
If they were
it's-
current in August, no?
But listen, couldn't you just be in the have so many difficulties? You probably give it a break to everyone, whoever is late.
No, everybody owes us so much money, it's sickening. I go outside of my house and I look at all the people that owe us money. and
You
I-
don't have to worry about that because when it's with the attorney, they charge the late fees every month anyway.
Right, but
So-
not
I mean,
all,
but let's just say, for the sake of making it official, we are not gonna charge late fees for those 3 months. You know, I agree with that. We shouldn't, once everything gets settled in.
unless the people already were delinquent. That's my thing. If you're already delinquent, we're not gonna give you off the late fees because you already didn't pay every single month, ever.
Makes sense.
I'm saying, yes, I wouldn't, you're gonna charge me a late fee? I already didn't pay 1 month. Okay, you got my,
You can pay, you can afford it.
I mean, I have it in my computer to pay, I'm just waiting to send it to
I've got mine
BB&T.
too.
Okay, so that's, I only didn't pay November. But I'm saying, if you go back, if everybody was current as of August 31st, and we're not gonna charge any late fees for any of this time until you figured out what your books are and what everybody owes. Even if it takes another month, we're not gonna charge any late fees. But the people that were late continuously before, we should continue to charge late fees for.
How do you define that? How do you define it?
Let's say, they will have everything done by the end of the year.
Right.
So.
We're not gonna charge any late fees from August 31st till the end of the year.
Right.
No, except for the people that were already late
Well,
prior to August 31st.
Let me say this, if they, let's say they've been late for 2 years, they owe all those late fees for all up until September.
Uh-huh.
If they come current and they're on time before we start charging late fees, I'm okay
Oh,
with
well, I'm
not
okay
charging
with
them
that too.
any.
If they send you a check for $13,000 that they owe.
If they're behind before, they're
Take the
still
late fees
behind,
off.
once we start late fees again, then the late fees in between make sense.
I agree with that.
I'm gonna,
We need to
I
make
think,
it,
I think Affinity can,
yeah, you can
Yeah,
handle
yeah,
that.
alright, so, I don't think we need a motion on that, it's just, we agree with it.
Normal business procedure. Okay.
Any other comments from the board? Comments?
Just want to mention to you that one of the things that we spoke about in that gate meeting,
Yes.
that if anyone damaged the gate system, that we can bill their association for any cost. They will pay us and then we then place it and that
Then
resident.
they can go after their
They
resident.
would go after the individual resident.
Okay.
But all the fees or anything that we have will be equal.
Equal, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
I guess that's,
Did you find somebody to
If we
replace
can put
me?
in that agreement that if we identify, let's say it's a visitor, we identify them who did it, we see them coming in, but we can't identify which house they were going to because they weren't let in properly, whichever side let them in, they pay the damage. And that would be
Okay.
more of an incentive to,
The,
Make the guards work properly.
well, when we say that, we can send them the bill, there will be certain requirements that the west or the east will have to fill. They have to be requirement that it is a west resident, so that's a requirement. The other requirement is that you will have a picture that is shown. That was, that the car in question, you have a requirement, you can see that the sticker is a different color.
yeah.
So there must be certain requirement to match, okay, yes, we can pay you.
Yeah.
We've improved it. Yeah, and then if there's a police report, it's good also.
Right.
So I think that would not be a problem with the thing of the guests. If no one know who the guest is going to, then yes, we
Yeah.
need to address that guest through this license plate. That's a, yeah. Well, at least that was something that we agree on.
all right, any other comments from the board?
Did you replace me? I want
That
to.
after the annual meeting, we'll do an organizational meeting and decide who takes what seats for the new year.
Yeah.
So you know that
You're really bad. I told you through November I would stay. I don't want to stay longer than through November. I'm going away for the annual meeting. I want to be replaced.
that's fine.
Huh?
That's fine.
Okay, well, replace me.
We don't have to replace it. We're going to need to elect it.
We'll do it, acting, we'll cover it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
And on the
Make it an issue.
Okay, any comments from the floor? Any other comments? Questions? Problems?
Yeah, I have
Yes, sir.
a little comment. I want to bet. Sorry. Mosquito is around. I want to make sure, when are we going to start, doing the payment for the association?
We have the address, you can start sending them now.
You can start sending them out.
Appreciate if you
Yeah, we
send
can, yeah.
November now.
Correct.
Because it's gonna be a delay, yeah. The
Correct.
address, the new newsletter,
You got the newsletter.
you should have had it on your door today.
This.
Oh, I got no doubt.
Eso lo pusieron en la puerta. Hoy.
Oh,
Esta tarde.
okay, thank you.
If not, Alex has it. Did you email it already, the address? Or not yet? Just send out another email with the address.
I will send your email.
I got
I
mine.
got one, it was late in the day.
But you have, usted tiene acceso a computadora. Eso ya está en la página.
Ya está en la página.
Ya está.
Okay, thank you.
You got it up, right? Ya está en la página.
Yeah, está ahí mismo. Ponga el newsletter y sube ahí.
Sooner the better.
Thank you very much.
Any comments, questions?
The check was not cashed for November.
No, it's not going to.
Yeah, we just received with a new management company, we just received all the boxes, so we're gonna send them out to deposit this week. So if not this week, early next week.
If you send it out and you
I sent
haven't,
it out.
and you haven't gotten it back, just hold off. He's going through, because he does have some that were
Correct.
turned over to him. It might take a few more days, maybe a week to get them in. If at that time it hasn't gone through, give a call and we'll locate it.
We'll look at it.
But there's a new address for the next payment.
Yeah, I saw
New
that.
address. Any other comments from the floor?